Alright, it's going.
Yes.
How do I unmute myself? Hey, this thing's covering everything.
Oh, it's muted already. Or unmuted. That's crazy.
Hey everybody, how are you today? First stream of the new year. Took obviously a couple week break there. Hope everybody had a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We're getting ready to get started here pretty soon. Hey there, Sarah. How are you? Yeah, you are early. You're, hey, Picture Perfect Pythons. How are you? Actually caught, I think that was you. Caught you chatting in one of those Palm Street auctions. Can't remember which one. I think it was a couple days ago though. So, hey Macomorph, how are you? We are gonna get started here soon, and I've got a little bit of a surprise as well. So, Jersey guys, okay. I know there was one right afterwards as well. It's mind blanking me right now. Who it was, but I checked that one out. I try to jump into every single one of them. I just like hanging out. Don't always get everything, you know. Palm Street really isn't a place for too many like investment morphs, I would imagine, yet anyway. But that isn't always the case. So, alrighty. There are not a whole bunch of them, but I did get a good selection of them out. And then I'm alive and grinding, bro. Yeah, I hear you. We actually have to. I ran out of my content. I had such a big content thing, so we have to start filming again. Starting tomorrow, and I want to create like a more of a backlog again, so that we're like ahead of the schedule. That was much better. Now I got to grind the videos out and stuff like that, and then on top of that, my job, and then on top of that, the snakes. So lots and lots of work, but yeah. All right, time to. What do I do here? Computer cam, right? Let's see. Oh, look what we got for Christmas. We got a webcam. You know, what is it, like 3 months after we started doing this or something like that? When I promised to get them out right away. Still waiting on my Morphmarket to be updated though. So, but yeah, I can actually like show things if I ever get like inspiration from the actual snakes that I have behind me anyways. So, but yeah, let us know if you're having issues. We were showing some stuff. For one, it started unmuted. So if you watch the VOD, it's me saying, okay, how do I mute this immediately? And then it's just giving us issues. So if anybody's having issues or anything like that, let us know in the comments and such. So we got our very first clutch on Sunday. ODYB hit pied, X pied 10X. That's awesome. That's really awesome. And with 10, you're going to have more odds of hitting the pied now too. So hopefully you get it. The only way they make that even better would be like Enchi and stuff like that. Those all go so good together. So, but alrighty. I think I'm good here, right? Yeah.
I think so.
Alright. It's like you said, first time with new technology and stuff like that. So I want to make sure we're good. I actually waited a little too long. I mistimed it, and I had two of them that already, unfortunately, ended. One from Semper Reptiles, who I actually have ended with a few times, and they're good people. But that one ended, so I missed that one, unfortunately. But still got a good amount here, so. Alright, back to it. Morphmarket Auctions Live Edition. So, alright, first one I wanted to talk about today would be this Super Spot Nose Clown. And it's because you don't really see them a lot. Most people stick away from making Super Spot Noses, I would say. What is it, the Powerball or the 8-ball, they call it? The reason being is it's a bit wonky. People don't really pay attention to this, but Spot Nose is in the spider family. Spot Noses themselves, by themselves, I've never seen a problem. I've never ever once seen a wobble from the inner ear issue that the spiders do, but the 8-ball or the Powerball, I just can't remember which one they call the Super Spot Nose. They do sometimes get it. They look cool though. There's no denying that. But sometimes people stay away from them. Not always though. And there is a lot of power here though, because everything passes on Spot Nose. Obviously, it's the Super, so it's gonna always pass Spot Nose on. And being in Clown, Spot Nose and Clown, that goes together very, very well. And you know, that's where you're gonna be able to make certain combos a lot easier. Especially if you're breeding a male to it. I find it interesting though. I don't know how Parthenogenesis, I know how it works essentially, but they're saying that this came from a Parthenogenesis clutch. So that's interesting. I just thought that it was a neat example of one. Just to kind of show it off and show something that you don't see a whole bunch. And it is a powerful female in just in and of itself, and you know, when they started at a $500 price, that means that they're basically just foregoing a reserve, which I actually prefer. That I prefer someone just outright tells me their starting price, like I'm not accepting less than this. That's kind of nice, right? And then from there you can, you know, if the demand is there, or it just goes and nobody bids on it. But I do like that sort of format, I suppose, personally, but I understand why reserves exist, no doubt. So everybody's saying Powerball. Yeah, I couldn't remember which one. I think the other one is something else. So, hey, Happy New Year, Carter's Coils. We'll see you at the next Valparaiso show. So, Parthos can have fertility issues. So I've heard off and on about some of that stuff too. So I don't know. You know, I'll take your word for it, obviously, but I've never, you know, they're rare. They're so rare. It's a fascinating but yet scary thing, honestly. If I got a Parthos clutch myself, it would be, I mean, it'd be a mixture of excitement and then worry, because I know a lot of the eggs don't always make it. They don't always just make it to being born in general. I mean, and I guess that's to be suspected when you're not getting the proper chromosome match up that normal breeding would take. And if anybody doesn't know what Parthos is, I guess I didn't explain it. Parthenogenesis clutch is when the female just lays eggs without the introduction of a male. So she's essentially just cloning her own genetic framework. And it's fascinating. It's also incredibly rare. It's probably about the rarest thing that you can get. Many big breeders have never had it, and those who have usually have it once. So, and then randomly it pops up in somebody who doesn't ever breed, but it's a possibility. And they're fertile eggs too, so it's kind of weird. I guess it's like some old survival instinct if they're low on males and whatnot. So I have heard that Parthos clutches usually live more than a few years and are non-viable. Yeah, I've heard a lot of that as well. So I don't know. It's just fascinating when I saw that too. When I saw Super Spot, and I was just like, oh, I'm gonna start talking about this. Just kind of mention it. You know, I understand like some people are for that. They like it, and then some people don't because of the wobble stuff. But then when I saw the Parthenogenesis comment, I had to include it. Just even if you're not going to bid on it, it's a fascinating subject. So. Looking forward to it. Wasn't the same without you. Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, it'll be interesting. It'll be fun getting back to it. So, watched one the other day, and they mentioned low fertility. Yeah, I've heard that the low fertility thing. So I don't know how the babies really, are. They're fascinating. They're miracles, I suppose. And I guess it's some sort of genetic, like evolution, like an old thing to just keep the species alive, right? Just in case something happened. I know, like some frogs at least can literally change their gender if there's a imbalance. It's fascinating stuff. I think they're the only ones that can, like, species that can do that, but I could be wrong. There's so many species on this planet, so. All right, moving right along to this cypress. Sometimes I gotta remember to click on the pictures because sometimes they don't frame. Well, there we go. But Cypress, Stranger, Mojave, Possible Het Puzzle. There's a lot going on here that I like. All three of those genes, especially Cypress and Stranger, are really cool. I'm not sure. I'll show you here in a second, but I'm not sure if Cypress and Puzzle would put together. Probably, right? But being in a female at that, I'm surprised there's not been any takers on this. Probably just because it's a Possible Het Puzzle, right? Let's see. I didn't read this one. Pairing was a Cypress Stranger Het Puzzle, so it's actually 50% Het Puzzle to a Mojave, not a Possible. I kind of consider that different because a Possible might be from another, like a 50% that wasn't tested. So it's just like, well, it's possibly. I heard it described as possible once to me, but this is 50%, and the cool thing about that is that, well, you can test. You can test for puzzle, so that's an almost immediate. Stranger is good in and of itself, so that wouldn't be a bad Stranger to have. To get it in your collection as a female at that. But if it ends up proving as Het Puzzle, that's going to be really, really big. I know the Stranger Puzzle has been created, and it's real sharp. This is black pastel as well. Really like how reduced the pattern is, just basically on the top and on the sides. It's even got some like creeping up from the bottom here. Now just imagine that with the Cypress and the influence, and even the Mojave, even though sometimes Mojave can serve to lighten it up a little bit, I think it does pretty well here. So yeah, I'm definitely all for that one. This would be a good chance, but you are taking a risk. Anytime you buy any of that, you should realize that it's a coin flip, right? It's 50-50. You're taking a chance on it being Het Puzzle. So make sure that that's something that you can use, I guess, regardless. Being a female, that's the ideal thing there. If it was a male, it'd be a little less ideal because, I mean, the worst case scenario, you can still find use for this. And even if you did want it in your puzzle projects, well, then you're creating your own hets. And again, starting at a higher price, so that's basically their reserve. So not a bad one. Surprised that there's not been anybody who's taken a chance on it just yet, but let's see here. All right, moving along to one of my favorite genes that I need to be adding. I'm desperately trying to add this gene, and that would be Confusion. This is I thought I saw this one was a bigger girl, but a Confusion Clown. I guess it's not. This is a baby. A Confusion Clown Emperor pin, which basically Emperor is the combination of pastel and lesser. They call it that because sometimes some of the lesser combos are called kings. So I guess they get to be Emperor when they're mixed with pastels. Ironically, I in Confusion, I don't prefer not lesser, but pastel to be in there because it kind of takes away from some of the fascinating look of, especially on the belly in some cases like that. I like what Pinstripe it works with it actually. Kind of creates a little bit of a different look to what Confusion normally does, but you'd think maybe Pinstripe might overpower it because it usually does. overpower quite a bit. I love pinstripe, but it does overpower things. But it doesn't here. It works quite well with it. I would like to see it without the pastel. Not trying to crap on pastel like everybody else does. I like pastel in certain things, but in this I'd like to see it without it. Mostly because of like what Confusion does, especially in Clown. If you need any further look right here, this is a Confusion Clown right here. What it does to the belly is so unbelievably unique, like a hognose kind of. You don't get that very much, and I know a lot of people aren't looking at the bellies of snakes because they're laying on them, but this is so awesome. I've been trying to add Confusion here for a while in some way, shape, or form, and I'm going to. It's just a matter of time. I'm just trying to find the right fit and the way I want to do it. But yeah, this could be a good one, and being a girl too. You know, that's ideal because you're not passing that pastel, at least in my opinion, on with it every single time. So when you breed your male to it, you're only making that pairing really once a year, right? If she breeds once a year eventually, when she is ready. So a good pickup, honestly. A really good pickup. This is nice, and I hadn't seen the Confusion pinstripe together, so I'm actually surprised that it looks so darn good. Again, I just like it without pastel, personally, myself, just to get that pattern in there and to kind of darken this up a little bit. But that's kind of the way I lean anyways. I like the darker morphs a little bit, I think. So Confusion Emperor GHI should look nice. Yeah, I mean, I'm a big GHI fan as well. It's one of my favorite morphs. So staying on the topic of Stranger, here's a Stranger Fire Het Lavender Albino. So this one, it's again being in a female. I don't know. I thought I had a picture loaded of a Stranger Lavender, but I guess not. But the Stranger, you know, obviously is becoming a lot more available now. You see it a lot on the Morphmarket auctions, but it still commands a pretty decent price. Nowhere near where it was like maybe even 3 years ago, but 4 years ago it was like $1,200 for just the base morph. And now it's you know, come down. I remember when it was even more than that, honestly, but now it's come down a lot more. Being an incomplete dominant, that only makes sense. After a while, that passes on so quickly, like wildfire. You get one male, you get 6 to 10 eggs, like we were hearing from earlier. But you're gonna get that a lot more. It's gonna spread like wildfire, and everybody starts getting them, and then it kind of snowball effects. So therefore, they start to appear everywhere. But the combos are not out there quite yet, so there's still a lot to be done with Stranger, a lot. It'd be really cool to see that worked into some of those lavender projects. And what I like about it is that it works pretty well with lighter combo. Fire is obviously a lighter gene, it enhances and whatnot, but it looks really nice here. They don't fight each other to the point where one's overtaking the other and blocking everything out like some genetics do. It looks really nice. It looks good. You still have a lot of contrast here because there are a lot of light colors, whether it's the dorsal or the pattern, but then it's shaded with this nice orange in between the pattern and the blacks that just highlight everything and just kind of surround everything. So
pointed out, they can't actually see what hands.
So there, see. No, duh. Can't see what I'm pointing at. Maybe they can. Can you see what I'm pointing at? No. I don't know why it's doing this though. It's like it won't load the picture, but it's obviously loaded the picture. Whatever. But yeah, if you're into the lavender albino project in any way, this would be a nice one to do that too. You know, again, I like my hets if I'm gonna get them. If I'm not working visual to visual, to be in the females and the males to all be visuals if possible, because yeah, that allows you to have more chances, really, in my opinion. You know, you invest in one male that's got it all, and your females have the hets in them with a bunch of extra codoms and whatnot. That's a good way to save some money anyways. Obviously you want to go visual to visual in terms of recessives if you can, but that's not always going to work out when it comes to the moolah. So alrighty. Alright, next up would be this Wookiee Yellow Belly Het Pied. Nothing too crazy. But again, another one with the female being in there. So if you wanted to work an incredible gene in Wookiee and Yellow Belly combined, this would be a nice way to do it on a budget. And the reason I wanted to include her is because it doesn't say it's proven, but I mean it's 1,300 grams. So it's a good way to jump into a really cool killer project with the Wookiee and the Yellow Belly combined. Making visual pieds of that if you get your male sorted. And again, he should be something that you got packed with some genetics in there. You can start making some really cool stuff. So nothing too crazy to kind of highlight with the animal itself, just more or less what you see beyond the picture here, what you could potentially make with an animal like this. And quite frankly, on a budget, you can see there's some interest in this too. 24 hours left. It will probably stay on the lower side, but I think that there's a lot of potential with something like this. But yet on a budget, I like to show everything, whether it's expensive stuff, maybe it's something that you're not even theoretically want to bid on, but it's interesting. But then you know, things for every person along the line, no matter where you're at in this all. So from a financial standpoint, that is. So. All right, hurricane clowns. These are awesome animals. This is a really cool clown project to get into. Super unique too, because they're the only ones that I know of really with clown that put the eye stripe back. I mean, well, kinda. It's just wonky. It gets these crazy patterns in the lower part of the head near the jawline, and they're wavy and they're thicker than normally. And then you kind of see it reappear. Let me see if I can get a better picture from here. And of course it's covering its head. But you can kind of see, look in the front here, it almost looks like it's not clown for a moment, right? But a lot of them do that. A lot of the hurricane clowns look like this. But then they bring this pattern, it's wavy, wonky, much thicker than normal. And then obviously you have the normal telltale signs of a clown. Just incredibly unique on what hurricane does to it. Here's another one right here. This one, I think, I'm not sure if pastel is what's knocking that out, but with leopard as well, that's pretty darn nice. Leopards are always awesome. I mean, especially when you get like a really nice looking one. This one is a really nice looking one. But you can kind of see there's a few of them up here. This one is with the het, of course, now. So this means that you're going to be saving a little bit more money buying something that's a het female. But still, even this one looks super nice. Almost looks like it was like hypo a little bit. Maybe just a picture or something like that, but it definitely looks not quite hypo, but this picture looks like it a little bit. Kind of looking some Halloween colors coming through there. It's probably just the hurricane influence and whatnot coming through, but you can start making hurricane leopard clowns, and that's sick. Oh, I didn't load it. This is our video. Hey, it loaded right to it. Isn't that something? But this is a hurricane clown. It was on our top 5 ball pythons from the Tinley show. Very, very nice looking animal. You can kind of see what I'm talking about here with that eye stripe coming back in a way, but it's obviously not the actual normal eye stripe that the clown ball pythons have. Except for maybe near the front. It's completely wonky. Super cool. Very, very colorful. Nice crisp oranges with the shadowing blacks in there. Just exploding with color and contrast. So, very, very, very cool animal. Get to the comments here. I'm a Gamer King. I am a new breeder. My goal is to go for clown pied. I have a pastel leopard, 100% clown, 50% het pied. If I put him to a cinnamon pied, or I put him to a cinnamon pied. If you don't prove out to be pied, what should I do next? Well, definitely. I think that. Yes, actually, I'll read the rest because I think people are actually answering in the comments. Pied value has been dropping lately from what I noticed. A little bit, but that's just because there's so many of them being created. It's to be natural. I think that there still will be a bottom line for that, by the way, which I'll get back to. No reason to waste time when RGA has a shed test for pied. I'd do that before taking all that time to prove. Yeah, unless you are like they're proven breeders, so they're like right there and you were going to do the pairing anyway. I think it's worth investing in if it could change things for you, if you might go in a different direction and maybe source a different male. To that credit, buying a clown pied, and you know, that was the other one. There was one starting out here, and I missed it by mere minutes. And it was a clown pied. Boy, clown pieds, or just clown pieds in general, have come down. They still hold a good value because they're still nice looking animals. And there will be a floor, which I still think is really nice, but they're no longer these $1,200 animals. You can pick one up on Morphmarket Auctions. When I was looking at it last, with like 20 minutes to go, it was at, I think, 280 something bucks. Now, would it have ended higher? Yes, it did, but it's not ending. I don't even think it ended over 400, honestly, but that was a guess. I've seen them, the males, go for a lot less than they used to. So you could source a male and, quite frankly, maybe get some more stuff in there if you need to, and go in that direction. Therefore, you increase your chances and whatnot. Now, your female, I noticed you said doesn't have clown in it, so you'd be creating hets out of that. Which is still better than not, but you could probably pick up females too, whether they're visual or some double hets with some extra stuff, because there's still a lot of things people can do with clown pieds in terms of really nice morphs, but just the standard clown pied has started to normalize to a certain amount. Still a pretty healthy amount. I ain't gonna complain if I get a bunch of clown pieds to sell a show, but they're not the $1,200 animals that they were 2 years ago or so. So, but that's good for you when you're sourcing, when you're creating them. So, and ignore the dogs. Dogs are gonna dog. Alrighty. Let's see here. Oh, yes. I always talk about the Hognoses briefly, but it's gonna be even briefer than brief, because there's 5 or so that are currently up for auction, which doesn't surprise me necessarily. Last week it was a lot more, and there were a lot of proven breeders as well. But this is what we got right now, looking at Hognose auctions, and there's a couple with reserve. There's one here that says pet only. It usually means it might have a kink or something wrong with it, but it can live fine. We actually have a kinked animal here. I'm trying to make sure it can thrive, and we'll see if I can do that. And then I'm probably just going to give it away to someone who knows how to care for an animal like that and wants to put the effort in. I'm just going to make sure it can live. So, but let's see here. For this reason, she insists on being a fish eater only. Oh, well, there's nothing genetically wrong with that. Some hognoses can be incredibly picky, but I've heard of that. Like, they'll eat. Mine are not picky in any way. They'll eat me. And but I've heard of certain ones you buy sardines. Probably just plain sardines. I don't think they'd appreciate the mustard flavoring ones, and they'll go to town on that. But in the wild, they'll eat minnows and frogs, especially because frogs are kind of derpy, and they'll just let themselves be eaten. So, let's see here. Love the last one you showed. Stunning. Which one is that? Probably one of the hurricane clowns or something like that, I think, beforehand. Yeah. Right. He is pied. Should I see if I can pick up a clown pied female? Sorry, why is it holding that for review? I don't know. It's randomly holding. It's showing me, but it's holding Gamer King, your comment for review. YouTube is weird. If you shed test him and he is pied, should I pick up a clown pied female? You could do that. This would be still cheaper. Or a pied het clown female. That would be even cheaper, but then you lower your odds. So you gotta ask yourself within your own budget, and you should be realistic with your budget. Don't buy yourself into debt by any means. This is a hobby, and some people, and it can be an investment. It can be something that is lucrative. It can be. But you should just, I feel like people should treat it more of a hobby and go from there, and not think that they're going to make like some big money and stuff like that. So I'd say do what is best for you financially, but you do increase your odds substantially if you go visual in that regard. And they have come down quite a bit. So if you have the ability to do it, I do recommend that. But if you don't, there's nothing wrong with the other way. So. Alrighty. Well, there's not much in terms of hognoses to go over, unfortunately. I love hogs. Hey! There's one that just got added. This goes to show you actually something that It's a wild caught, and it's not a Western hognose. It's a Madagascan, so you would not want to get these together. I think these are huge, by the way. I think that, yeah, Madagascan hognoses are bigger, I think that's the case. But normally we like to go over this. There's just not a whole bunch to talk about in terms of the auctions, but you're seeing them all right there, so. I'm doing this because I love snakes, and that's the best way to do it. And usually I find that if that's what you're doing, you might find some success monetarily as well. So if you got a passion behind it, that's what fuels it forward. There's nothing wrong with making money at all. Don't ever let anybody tell you that there is. That's silly. And even if that is your primary goal, so long as you provide good care, that's the most important thing. But if you have a passion behind it, well, that's the fuel forward anyways, and it's going to make you think like, okay, what can I do with this? What can I do with that? It's going to fuel your own learning, and you're going to try to learn new things, be open to new ideas and whatnot too. So Big Daddy says, I have a visual clown het pied female, 700 grams. You're in Northwest Indiana as well, so yeah, that's where we're at. So very cool. That's about halfway the size though. So yeah, sometimes you can find ones that are like that too, that are either halfway the size or proven breeders. Save yourself some time. You usually do pay a little more, albeit that's kind of normalizing nowadays. So all right, we're going to talk about one of my favorite genes, and that's Monarch. And look what I get to do. Where is he? Oh my god, why is he in shed? The first time, well, he's in shed, so he's a little duller than normal. But this is a Monarch. The lighting is not good for him. Like, it's not showing him off all that well. But he's also in shed. How do you change that? Yeah, Jesus Christ. Now he's just a ghost. Turn it down. That's a little better. Little better. He is in shed, but you can see these beautiful... He's shiny, though. You can see these beautiful colors and whatnot on them. So you can see what a Monarch can do when they're in shed. Go ahead and put it back. I actually have pictures, anyways, for you all to see of ones that aren't in shed. I named him Milk Dud, but he decided to, of course, be in shed today. So, but anyways... We obviously talk a couple of things about Monarch here and then show you what the potential for that could be. But this is an Enchi Pastel Yellow Belly Het Monarch. It's 100% Het Monarch, 66% Het Pied from CD Constrictors, who make very quality animals, very high quality animals. I had previously said I don't really... Monarch is good because it can go very well in terms of dark morphs, because it's got that beautiful rich mahogany look to its off color basically, but it goes really good with light colors too, like pastel, like, the ones everybody wants to crap on pastel, like I was talking about earlier. But I feel like Monarch has a microdose of Desert Ghost in there, and what I mean by that is it cleans things up and it brightens them up too. It really just enhances, I should say, not brightens them necessarily, but it enhances things. So if you put a light thing in there like pastel, it enhances it and really makes it pop very well. So Monarch pastels are great, and they look great as adults too. They look the same. Yellow Belly's a good one no matter what route you want to go, dark or light route, they're good. And Enchi, for a while, Enchi's the one where I kind of was like, I don't care for the Enchi Monarchs because it reduces the pattern that I like, the color that I like. But I started to see a lot more of them, and I've changed my tune on that. It's still not my alley, my favorite alley in terms of it, with a little bit of the darker morphs when it comes to Monarch, but it is still very viable. And I actually took a stab at getting one because I was so impressed with the ones that I had seen. But this would be a really nice one. Now, of course, the 66% Het Pied is a really big thing here. You have a higher than likelihood chance of hitting the pied. So this is when you got to send an RGI for a shed test, I'd say, because it could change a lot in terms of what you want to do. What's cool here is that, well, there's another one from CD Constrictors in a completely different way, and that one is Banana Enchi Pastel Yellow Belly. So you got a little bit more going on there. It, but you know, also still het monarch, 66% het pied. So theoretically, being from the same breeder, you could buy. If you win both of these, you need to combine your shipping and have them send it out that way. Let me see if this is the same pairing. Yeah, it's the same pairing. Looks to be, you know, the description says the same thing. It's a little bit. Oh, there's just spelling error down there, but yeah, it's the same pairing. So these are siblings. So you could get both of these, have some hets to grow up, and then eventually source your male. Get yourself a visual monarch male that's 100% het pied. I mean, you get good chances of getting one of these ones to hit, and then you know you start growing these ones up when they're about, you know, halfway to size or something like that. You source your male, and you go into town making some really nice things. I'm not sure what banana ant monarch would look like. Probably really cool. I mean, they kind of have the same kind of colors with the yellows coming in, but it's different. And every other aspect in terms of being a little bit more of a darker mahogany versus a lavenderish type color. Not to mention what banana does with Enchi and whatnot. So there's a joke. If you saw my brother with an owl mask, I think you might have seen him. It's really just between me and him, and I'll explain this picture here in a second. That's a monarch though. But the joke is that he can't show his face on YouTube until, I don't know, until we get a certain subscriber amount, I guess. I don't know. But it's more or less just a joke between me and him, and that's why he walked behind me with an owl mask just now. Anyways, I wanted to show off some of the the monarchs pieds that you can get, and kind of show the both sides. So here you go. This is a good example of how it does both light and dark very well. On our right is a light one, a fire mahogany monarch pied, and on the left, if this thing would go, is just a monarch. Or no, is this a yellow belly monarch? Yellow belly pied. Can they see your face in there? I said something about it and nobody saw it. I don't think. I don't know. Not that that's relevant to what we're talking about. But I literally just went on a whole story about why you were wearing an owl mask. But yes, this is why I love monarchs so darn much. Because, and this is why I kind of lean the darker side. And when I say the darker side, you can see right here, it's not just dark. It's got this beautiful like almost purplish. This is about as close to purple as we can get. And that's dark. But everything else isn't. It's light. When I say I like the darker morphs, I mean I like the contrast that it brings. I want dark morphs to work well with light morphs and blend. And if you watch me, you know I say contrast is king all the dang time. You should put it on a shirt and sell it. It is though. Like when you can put dark and light together, and there's so many other ways you can do contrast, whether it's color, shade, pattern, even like clean and dirty pattern, stuff like that. It's pretty incredible, and that's why I like this one. Now, both of these animals undoubtedly are beautiful, whether it's the light side or the dark side, and this one's perfectly, showing that light versus dark monarch. So I use this video of Justin's all the darn time, but I do prefer the dark. Not that that's taking away anything from the lighter one. It's incredible. They're both incredible. I just prefer the darker ones a little bit more, just because I think it shows that contrast a little bit better. But not that the light one honestly doesn't have a little dark in it too, just not as much. So yeah, that shows the incredible potential of monarch. It's why it's about my favorite gene, honestly. I absolutely love it. I think that it works incredibly well with a lot, if not really every. I've got a lot of plans for it. I plan to kind of make that my stick, so to speak, right? Is monarch. It's going to be kind of what I kind of want to mostly work. Not that I won't do other things. I do other things. But that's kind of one thing I kind of want to be. I'd like to steam forward and do some stuff with that. So let me jump into the comments here a little bit. Oh wow, I missed a few. Every time I go reach, I think we're talking about sheds up here. Every time I go reach for one, seems like they're in shed. Pretty Pretty. Yeah. I don't know what it is. The first one, right? Everybody says that. The first one's like they're doing it on purpose. So there's still a point in shed testing for pied, even though I paired the two together once. Yeah. I mean, I'd say if it's one time, it doesn't usually take. I mean, it can. I mean, all it takes is once. And I would know that. I literally got snakes from the craziest of circumstances. But I would still say yeah. But if they are to size, that's a question that you don't necessarily have to. If they are already to size, you could just go. If you were going to already breed them that way, otherwise you could stop and potentially move to a different male and try that, right? But if you were going to do this pairing anyways, go forward. I mean, the pied testing isn't all that crazy. Let me go find that thing again. So hit pied. So it's 50 for that one. We actually have a code, code Rhyno, if you wanted to do a couple different genes, if you were testing for something else as well. And it can be used on different snakes or the same animal. And it's literally it's BOGO, right? Buy one, get one. So you put code Rhyno, you say, hey, I'm testing for pied there. And then you include a second one and say, hey, for code Rhyno, I'd like to test this other one I included with its ID for, I don't know, puzzle. It's equal or lesser value as the free one. So just make sure you're being honest with that. Don't test for Spectre and then try to get a free puzzle or something like that. You're already getting a great deal. So, yeah, I think it's a good idea, but it's not, I guess, necessary if you're going to make the pairing anyways. So, love that you name them. I don't name every single one of them, but I do try to name quite a few of them. Sometimes it's just goofy. We just get a little goofy. Like, I have 2 het monarchs now. I got one from MSB Reptiles, and they're both het monarchs. And that's really it. I just wanted another one just to kind of produce some monarchs. And I just called it Younger because it's younger. A little lame as heck, right? But yeah, just I name everything something. Some of them are more meaningful than other ones. We have an all white snake here that's called White Snake, but we didn't call that one White Snake because it's lazy, but because we like 80s music, so that's why it's called White Snake. So let's see here. I'd say let it ride, play the odds. What's done is done. I mean, yeah, like you said, you did pair it once, so in the end, that's up to you. If you want to know sooner, that's one way to do it. But if you paired them, I mean, like I said, all it takes is one time. And if you were going to make the pairing anyways, I'd say just go for it, right? Monarch looks good. Seen one, a blackhead one. I actually have a blackhead het monarch I'm growing right now with that. I love blackhead. That's another gene that works so well with it's a dark gene, but it works so well with light genes. It just takes it hand in hand and said, let's work together. So shed testing, instant subscription. Good work, brother. I appreciate that, Tremaine. Thank you so much. Arlo, we caught you live. Greetings and salutations to you as well. Thank you. Love the plum coloring next to the warm oranges. See, that's a good way of putting it, honestly. Let me go back into that one. Oh, that's not it. There's it. There we go. It's just that sort of contrast. It's beautiful to me. As soon as I saw, well, monarchs in general really had my attention for a long time, but it was actually the spot nose monarch clown that just absolutely sold me. And then everything else I've seen from there is just insane. Easily one of my favorite, if not my favorite. It's definitely my favorite recessive. So I was gonna make them pair anyways, just to see what I would get out of them. Yeah, if you were gonna do it anyways, then I'd say just stick with it. So, have you seen what a puzzle monarch looks like? I have. There's very few that have been created, and hang on. I'm not one of them, by the way. I'm not about to go get one. But I will be. Here, where is it? Where is it? There you are. Oh, right. She just ate. I gotta be careful. Okay. Well, I already got her. This is a pewter. So it's a cinnamon. pastel. I think that's. Isn't she something else? Is she something else? No. Oh, we believe she is also the weirdo Jane. Oh, the lighting. I'm trying to get the lighting good on this. We'll figure it better out. She looks a lot better than what the camera's showing. I also gotta be careful since she just ate. I don't want to disturb her too much. But she is also double het, puzzle, and monarch. And I got a boy for her as well. So I'm very excited to be growing her out. But yeah, let me try and load a picture of it, right? Monarch puzzle. I'll remember to put ball python this time. Sometimes I'll just put like monarch puzzle or something like that. Or when I looked up earlier I looked up what was it, redhead clown? And I just typed redhead clown, hit enter. Well, you know what Google gave me. And I've done that live before. It's interesting. I don't really care for clowns, so that one never really makes me happy to see. Where the heck is it? These are hard to find, honestly. I'm working on a screen here with a bunch of stuff in the way too. Darn it. This might be a little bit harder to find than I thought. Johnny, would you mind trying to find the monarch puzzle? We showed it once, right? We showed it in our egg cutting? Because I have the egg cutting video, ironically. That pulled up as the #1 result for me. So, I'm trying to show that real quick. You know what? We might come back to that. But they are out there. There's been only a few that I've seen. If that. Some are in Europe. I think they might all be in Europe. If not, I'm completely sure about that, though.
Monarch puzzle?
Yes. Monarch puzzle ball python. If you just type monarch puzzle, you're going to get puzzles of King Edward or whatever. So, yes, the pewter is the possible daddy morph. Yes, it's also called Het Daddy. In fact, I'll admit it. When I bought it, it's from KDF Morphs, the girl that made that snake right there. It was Het Daddy, but they're considered the same thing, Het Daddy and Weirdo. And I just can't call it that. It just sounds so wrong. So I just call it the Weirdo. But by technicality, when I list them, or whatever, when I prove the lineage, I do put the daddy on there. I just call it Weirdo because it's weird to say that, I guess. I don't know. I just picked up a Fire 100% Het puzzle. Boy, looking forward to for the puzzle project, but need a girl for him. Puzzle is really nice. There's a lot of people who work puzzle quite well. I got mine from KDF, and I couldn't be happier. She was the fastest I ever. This is gonna sound bad, but she bred in under a year and a half, or not under a year and a half. Sorry, under 2 years, just under 2 years. I know, but like 2 years is kind of the max that they'll get to there. But she was to size. And she stopped eating, and all I did was introduce the boy to her just to try to get her to eat for quite literally, it was like 10 minutes. And then she ate the next week, and then she stopped the week after. So I was like, okay, let me try it again. And I put him in there for about 20 minutes, sat in the room each time, because I didn't really necessarily need her to pair. I figured it'd be another year. Never saw a lock. And then I took him out. She ate the week after again, so I was like, great. Because she ate nonstop. She was the best eater I've ever had. Never stopped. Not a single time, not in shed. Didn't matter what the reason was. She ate every single time. And she got the size incredibly fast. I put her with that boy 2 times when she finally did stop eating. And then she stopped. So I'm just like, you know what? Just let her go on a hunger strike for a little bit. It'll be fine. She then laid eggs 1 month after that. It was the craziest thing ever. That's what they're from. So, yeah. Yeah, daddy morph, so we'll figure it out. I found it in the past. It's usually on most social media if you check Facebook or Instagram or something like that. So, sorry for the questions. No, you don't gotta be sorry at all. I have a lesser platinum. What What's the daddy too? God dang it. It's one that I'm not incredibly. When I bought this animal, it was possible because it's a little more subtle, right? But in puzzle, it seems to bring up some peachy sides on it, from what I've seen. And as they get older, it becomes a little more obvious. Quite frankly, it becomes pretty obvious. They get peachy sides, and it brings it up on them, on the sides in there. So that's what it does in terms of puzzle, at least. When it does by itself, I'm not gonna BS you and tell you things that I don't know because I'm not as familiar with it yet. I mostly just, it kind of came along with the ride. It was kind of like, well, it's also possibly this, and then it was like, okay, well, it obviously is as it aged. So with puzzle, it's pretty nice because it brings in that nice peachy sides. So with other things, I think it's very subtle, very, very subtle. But I could be a little wrong on how it works with combos and such. But since you were talking about puzzle earlier, I think you were. If you work that into that, that's what you're going to be getting. So, all right, let's move on to the next one. That got really bright. That would be this Hypo Super Inchy 50% Het Rainbow. And this boy here has some decent power to him. Now, I always say having your hets in the male isn't the greatest thing, but this is from Canada as well. But they do ship to the U.S., so that's important. So not everybody does. So the reason I'm including this is not for anything other than the rainbow, because I want to talk about it a little bit. Rainbow is a gene that not a lot of people know about. It's very similar to the lavender albinos and the candy, that kind of albino. Believe it or not, monarch, what we just talked about, is a form of albinism. It's T plus albinism, so it doesn't do the exact same thing. As you could clearly see, it doesn't give you the red eyes or anything like that. So, but this one is just more of your more traditional type albinism. It does have like a sometimes more of a golden eye, quite frankly. Candy and such like that are super duper underrated, in my opinion. They especially candy and toffee, which are the same gene, by the way. But rainbow is one that doesn't get talked about a lot. It's, in my opinion, it's the best looking of all of them. By how much? That's debatable, because they're pretty pricey. They're still up there because they're pretty darn rare. So you want to see what a rainbow kind of looks like. Like you might think this is that one's a banana, but where is it? There is it. There we go. This was a pairing. I can't listen to it obviously, but Super Hurricane Inchy Hypo Rainbow to an Inchy Hypo Het Rainbow. So what you're getting here is a rainbow. They are very bright and very rich in color. Almost looks like it would be banana or something like that, right? But it is not. You can tell that just from the eyes and the other types of colorings in them. They're very, very, very nice, and they age incredibly well too. That's kind of why I would mention that, is just you take a chance on this and you can get the rainbow gene, and that is a very, very, like I said, it's still got a lot of work that can be done with it to see what else it might do differently from these others, but in my opinion it is the brightest. This one actually ends up being a proven breeder too. It's a big boy, so you could potentially be doing something with that pretty quickly, but I just kind of wanted to include it really quickly just to talk about the rainbow gene a bit. Gene that gets overlooked quite a bit in that regard, in that family of albino genes, kind of. So back here, so lesser is daddy. Does that mean the hatchling I had of him could be Het daddy if it's a recessive morph? Oh, so when I say Het daddy, it's not actually. Unfortunately, sometimes some of these genes, they were once thought to be recessive, but now they're saying it's not. It's not a recessive. The daddy gene, they're saying it is actually an incomplete dominant, I guess. So basically, like the one I have here is the Het daddy, but it's not. It's not like a Het at all. It's not a recessive. It does something to it visually. Like I said, I don't know the whole bunch about it. Just kind of came along for the ride with that genetic and whatnot. But you can all I know is they look really nice with puzzle in terms of that. But I guess to answer your question, if they're saying yours was this the straight up daddy, and then I guess it'd be like a super form, right? If there was a hatchling from it, they would all be that. If that's the way that would work. If they said that one was daddy instead of het daddy, right? So that's another reason why I like to call it weirdo, because it's not only makes me feel uncomfortable, but yeah, there's the aspect of it getting pretty darn confusing, which, like I said, just kind of happened there. So then again, a lot of people honestly argue that there should be really no difference between supers and recessives in general. They kind of do the same thing, but I still think there's an important differential there. A het clown has no real look to it. A clown clearly does. An Enchi has a clear look to it, as does a super Enchi, and that's the big difference. That's why I think it's important we still keep them kind of in their own families. So super Enchis always look great. The yellows are so stark. Absolutely. The hypo is definitely helping there, though. That's brightening it up. And I'm glad to see hypo finally getting its due. It was overlooked for a long time as just the morph that made the snake look like it was in shed. That's precisely what people would think. But that is not the case. It's an awesome. It is an awesome gene. It just brightens it up, makes it look like it's exuding sunlight. So I'm talking about het daddy, and I have a dad cup here. There we go. Manifested that into the world. So it's a hypo 2. Yep, those are beautiful. My cinnamon finally started pairing. Female cinnamon with a different male, as you suggested. Locks are perfect as scheduled. Is my male pewter or butter too shot? Whoa, something just disappeared. Maybe okay. Well, if you get it, say it again. Just let me know. So, freeway, super Enchies are one of my goals this year. Freeway is so nice, and that's a really good one to work. Just in terms of a morph like bells and stuff like that. Something that you can work that's just always going to have interest. Bells, freeways, highways, so many I could go on and on. Those ones are nice, and Enchi is really good with it too. The what do they call it? Mardi Gras. Yep, that's the morph that they call it. That's such a cool name too. So, and boas, some recessive show as incomplete doms like leopard. Yeah, boas are really nice. There's some of their colorings, and patterns. I don't choose to keep them mostly because sometimes there can be issues keeping pythons and boas together. Not definitely two together, but in the same room. Boas can have something that doesn't really harm them all that much, but it will just murder a python. So I'm staying away from that myself. But they are very nice looking. Sometimes they aren't so nice personality. Not all the time, but it's funny when they're not. So. Super Enchi is a codom, right whereas leopard is an incomplete dom, meaning the super is less visual, basically. Yeah, although people are now saying there is a super leopard, but it looks the exact same. So I guess that's the case, since they look the same. The super, the homozygous form you would call it, is the same. It doesn't produce a different visual look, so that would be what you call a dominant leopard, that is, versus Enchi, whereas there's a clear difference between a super Enchi and a regular Enchi that you can see. Same thing with like many other types of supers that are out there that show a clear difference. So let's see here. So is there any point of keeping the lesser daddy? The lesser daddy's lesser weight, if he is carrying it. Well, there's not a lot. There's still a lot of work that can be done with it. So if that's something you're interested in, I would just recommend looking into it. And if he's got other genetics or plans that you can use, yeah, I would say so. But just make sure it's something for you that you want to work. Sometimes the craziest things are subtle. Red gene, lace, which we'll get into a little bit later. Or should I say red head, I meant. Russo. These combos, I mean, heck, even yellow belly. We were talking about the the freeways and stuff like that's a key component of it in the yellow belly complex. They're so subtle by themselves, but when they get put into certain combos, they just blow up. Not quite the ugly duckling story, but you still get the point. It just blows up when you get the right combinations in there. So if this thing is moving, that's because I'm not used to having a camera on me, so I'm like hitting the desk. So see, you can't always see supers of incomplete DOMs. Well, incomplete and codom are the same. Technically incomplete. Or no, I'm confusing myself. Because there's the dominance, yes, and the incomplete dominance. Codoms and incomplete dominance are technically the same thing, although they're trying to like switch the wording up now to incomplete dom because scientifically that's the actual way. So just put a 5-egg clutch in the incubator tonight. Spot nose bell to a butter het exantic het DG. I'm excited. I just want some bamboo Mojave hets. That would be cool. And in a way, though, technically, you're also, if you can get the hets, you can test for those, even though they're going to look like white snakes, which is still cool. They're actually going to be powerful because you're always going to pass on bamboo. If it's a bamboo or Mojave is what you're talking about, you'd always pass one of those copies on because that's basically an allelic combo, the bell combination right there. So you'd always be passing one of those along, along with the fact that you could, hit a het and stuff like that. So bamboo is one of my favorites. Indeed, good luck. Oh, it's called Het Daddy because it's not really visible on its own. Yeah, for the longest time they thought it's a recessive, so I think that's where it got its original name. Came along with the lesser. The import was called Platinum. The babies, it looked like a lesser version. Yeah, because that's with lesser. So, but yeah, that's basically what it is. That's kind of why I got to calling it the weirdo gene because of that. Because it got a little confusing. So, thank you. I'm Lake Reptiles on Discord, by the way. Yeah, I think my brother spammed it a bit. We have a Discord, so you can just jump in there. A lot of people just talk amongst themselves. I'm in there occasionally as well. Try to jump in there all the time. I'm always keeping busy and whatnot. So, but I do pop in there and I talk and whatnot. But yeah, check out our Discord. It's just chat, talk. It's a community that just helps each other out. Has fun, talks, stuff like that. It's no cost to it or anything like that. You just join. I think my brother linked it here a few times. So my cinnamon finally started pairing. My female cinnamon. Wait, did I not already read that? Oh, that was the one that disappeared. Yeah. So started reading pairing the different male. Suggested locks are perfect as scheduled. Is my male pewter too shy? Not sure what you're saying there, but if you are seeing the locks, then you are fine. But if you're having issues with him locking, there's lots of different ways to do that. We actually made a whole video on that, right? How to get your males to go. There's a lot of different things you can do. One of them is putting the shed of another male in there. That can sometimes get them going. One of them is a little more gross. You can actually not really pop them, but if you they're sperm plugs. It's as gross as it sounds. Will kind of come out, and you can rub that on the back of a female and the actual male. And then you're doing this with a different male, by the way. So let's just say you want to take a different male and put him on there and take his stuff and put it on the back of the female. It's all very gross, but it is what it is. When you're breeding animals, sometimes you get a little gross. And then you put the male you want to breed in there, and he might smell that and kind of think competition, right? So, and then another way I always do, but you got to supervise this, is put the two males together. Put a proven breeder, like a big time stud that you got, with the male, and supervise the entire time. You can close the tub, but because they're not gonna do anything until you'll hear a bang because he'll wrestle. He body slams him against the side of the tub, and that's when you want to immediately go in there and just grab the other male and put him with the female. He's gonna think like he won. He's gonna think the other male ran and then he won. So I've had major success with that, but you do gotta supervise it, because if you forget, they will fight. And while it's very unlikely that the bigger male will hurt him, it'll traumatize him a bit. Because in the wild, one would just leave, right? But in the tub, they can't leave. So make sure you're supervising if you do that method. There's a lot of other methods too, so. Those are platinum. The other babies were normal looking, and they proved to be a lilac mutation. Yeah, those, I think it's not a lilac one, so. Lace is awesome, and age is very nice. Lace is incredibly awesome. Very subtle by itself, but wow, it's incredible. And the white lace, which is the super form, is just chef's kiss. OD spot nose. Sneaker news for, yeah, OD spot nose is an awesome. Just in general, those are both really nice morphs. It's just about anything. So, bamboo Mojave spot nose to a buttered. I have to test for sure. So, yeah, send in a shed test. Like I mentioned, if you get more than one, use our code. You know, save yourself some money and whatnot. So, hey, you're being summoned. Yes. Well, let's try to give the breeders both male, female, a fat male. Yeah, you always want to try to, especially the females, until they stop eating. Then you know, that way you're just building them up. They will eventually stop. Well, they should eventually stop, and then you kind of go from there. So, and you might catch the locks, you might not. Like I said in my combo, I never caught any locks with that one. It just happened in 2 pairings, less than 30 minutes probably. So. I have a clown blade to a cinnamon het clown. They're locked up once, but the other times the male just balls up. So they might be doing stuff when you're not looking, though. I mean, think about it. Like, you know, they don't. They're very shy in general, so they're gonna be shy about, well, doing the dirty. So that's something you might not be seeing. Like I just mentioned, I never saw it one time, and it was 30 minutes total, probably less, that I had those two paired up. It was more or less just to try to get the female to eat, because when they see a male, sometimes they'll think that and then go into that kind of mode. So, god dang. Can you really yo, there you are. You are showing there. People probably maybe if anybody joined and doesn't understand that, I explained it once, but it's a joke between me and him, and he's not allowed to show his face, or he just doesn't want to until. Even though you can see him at a show, if you come see us at Tinley or wherever.
Wouldn't it be that hard to find my?
And he's also in one of our videos. Just you don't know who he is. So I think it's my footage, and he's just kind of just in the background. So it's in a Tinley. You'd have to watch our entire Tinley video though, and you don't know which one either. And they're all 4 hours long. So, yeah, I'm gonna get back to the comments, but I am gonna move ahead really quick with this blackhead. Red Jean, Lavender Albino Pied. So, a lot going on here. My favorite thing, well, not my favorite thing, but one of my favorite jeans in Blackhead. And then this is a Dreamsicle as well. And then you got Red Jean there. That's a very subtle jean. With Pied, it does make a bit of a difference. Can you actually hand me that one? The Red Jean Pied over there? 4 down, closest to you. Yep, you're there. I think it's got a bit of an attitude, so just be careful. This is a Red Jean. It's not incredibly different than just a regular old Pied, but it does make some more oranges. Again, we're going to work on the lighting on this, because it's not doing a spectacular today.
There you go. Never mind.
It's more towards the front. You can kind of see a little bit. Yeah, I'm trying to learn how to use the camera myself there. Yeah, it's either. That's a Red Jean right there. It's not really looking how it normally would, I guess. It's a little bit better. Like I said, it's hard to tell, especially in a picture. There you go. Yeah, she's definitely a little charged. But it kind of, sometimes the subtle jeans can make a big difference, especially when you pack them together. So, Blackhead is really where I'm at, though. I'm having a Blackhead. Oh, heck with that. Go get the bright one. Watch her being shed. I'm gonna. So I have one up here. It's a Blackhead Enchi Lavender Het Pied. Is she also yellow belly? Yeah, she's yellow belly as well, and she's probably in shed. I'm just gonna call it right now. But you can see what Blackhead and Lavender can do together. Is she in shed?
I don't think so.
No. Especially when she was a baby. Okay, the lighting is murdering her. Like, it's just, she's just, yeah. not any better. We're going to figure this out for next time. We'll test it on snakes and whatnot. But blackhead really just adds like a certain like starbursty type color to it. You're going to have to take my word for it because the lighting is just killing it. Actually, as I get it really close, you can kind of see those oranges just appear out of nowhere. But this is a blackhead lavender. Go ahead and put her back. We'll figure out the lighting for next time because it is not doing any favors for us. I think it's funny that you always have to put this mask back on anytime you do anything. But yeah, she could put this one here. As you can see, it's got some interest in there too. It's got about 2 days left, just under 2 days left from Oro Reptiles. We actually got that redhead from Oro Reptiles over there, from a Palm Street auction. So quality animal, by the way. She eats like a champ. Very good. When they're like charged and always kind of going, I like that as a breeder because that means they're eating. So, but still really powerful here. You can get dreamsicles for a really nice, affordable price and make some awesome stuff these days. Definitely take advantage of it. That blackhead is the biggest thing right there. It's going to make a big difference in this and how they age and how they look. It's so beautiful. So, all right, next up would be this spot nose Enchi yellow belly clown. Low bid right now, absolutely low bid, and it'll definitely go up. But I think that there's another one from CD Constrictors. They make, again, quality animals. I love every tinley I go to. I like seeing their table. Yeah, bright direction, you can go darker direction. You are 2 genes away from a Pompeii. I always like to mention that, even though it's oversaid. You're missing the red stripe and the black pastel. But that's always something people are really liking to make, and there's a reason for that. It's because they are incredible. And for a low price like this from a quality breeder, this is something I had to show. The Enchi being on top of it, it adds a little bit more flavor to it too, and kind of adds a more lighter, orangier tinge to everything, as well as making the pattern much different. You know, it's reducing the pattern in there and creating these tigery stripes. So very nice. This is a really favorable bid, you know. So I don't know what that could change in about 2 days time, but right now the bidding is very favorable. There is some interest there at 13. It's gonna go up. I can't say by how much, but right now, I mean, it's under $100. That's incredible. So I think no matter what, it'll be a steal. I mean, most of these auctions are a steal. It's the whole point of really what we're, you know, getting out of some of these. So, all right. Next up, and I'll jump back into the comments. Sorry, my brother's typing me things. Completely out?
Yes.
Okay. Well, you think we should be good by then if you're okay to do it. Anyways, moving along to this Sunset Breeder combo. So these are both hats, by the way. You know, it says Sunset here. It's just probably a mistake. Obviously, they're not. You can just see that with your own 2 eyes. But they are both het sunsets. And it even says down here 1-to-1. Which, if you're ever questioning what that means, 1.1, or if it says 1.0 or 0.0, the first number is the males. The second number is the females. People will list them like that if they're listing lots of them. So, like if it had been 1.2, it would have been 1 male, 2 females. 0.1 is a female, so that if you're ever wondering. These are proven breeders. The female laid 6, which is the average, which you'd say, eggs in June. So it's about time to start pairing these again. So this is the male. Second picture is your female. Bright coloring. I'm surprised to see if it's pastel, honestly. Maybe not. I don't know why the thing always does this each time with the little thinking, like it's loading something. But if you want to get in the sunset, that's my thing here. I guess what I'm trying to say. You could do it really cheap right here. Yet, yes, head-to-head is not ideal, but still, you know, depending on your budget, this might be the way to go to get into something that's so incredible and pretty darn expensive. If you don't know what a sunset is, this is a sunset. They are incredibly unique in their coloring. They got a whole storied history behind them and everything like that too. How long it's taken for these to start to take fold and start making waves, because they were kind of lost for a little while. They were actually made by Brian Barczyk originally, and then there's a whole story about them just disappearing. They were taken, unfortunately, but he had sold to other people, thankfully, so the genetic was was still in responsible hands. And people like, well, Brock Wagner here, you know, they kind of took it by the took the reins and went good with it. And a lot of people sometimes will accuse Sunset of browning out, and by itself or with certain combos, that can happen. But I've seen very little effort put into combos that make that a non-factor, quite frankly. Banana is my favorite. It's one of the brightest, beautiful looking snakes I've seen. I don't work Sunset. Eventually, maybe someday. This is a really good way to get into it, though. And if you're wondering your odds going head to head, it's 1 in 4. So it's not really all that terrible. You know, of odds, especially for the price, depending on what it ends at. There's going to be a little bit of interest, but I think that the whole point of this is to, you know, you're taking a chance. You know, and eventually these are animals that as you know, ramp up your collection, you're probably going to move on from them and give someone else the chance to do the same thing you're doing, much like they're doing, most likely. They probably bought these and did this and created more animals, and now they're working with visuals and combos and all that sort of stuff. So definitely a cool thing there. And there's definitely, it could just be chance, but there's, I mean, look at the girl is much brighter. Sometimes that's just the variability of a morph, and I've heard some stuff about the hets and sunsets being interesting, but then again, that's a het sunset, the boy. I mean, he has an interesting pattern too, but nowhere near as, you know, a lot of keyhole, not your normal alien head like that one. But she is all over the place pattern, climbing over her back. Not much normal looking about this snake, which technically, I guess it's a het, but it looks not normal. Lightish. So cool animal. If you're looking to get into Sunset and you want to do it on a budget, here you go. This is a good one. This is a really good one, and it's right away too. Let's not overstate that. You're not buying 2 babies here to eventually raise up. You're buying 2 provens. You're good to go. Possibly, you know, sometimes you can never guarantee when you get them that they're going to go the season you get them. Lots of different variations that might happen, but it could. It likely would if you put them together, and a lot sooner than raising them up. And you take all of that effort of feeding them, all the costs of feeding them to get them to size and everything like that out of the picture. Nice to buy provens like that in that case, but you're usually paying a little bit more to do that. I mean, we'll see what these end at, but I think that'll still be pretty favorable. So, all right, let me jump in the comments here because I think we only have like 3 or 4 more or something like that after this one. There's a lot of comments. You guys are active today. I try to get to all of them. I apologize if I miss some. Some days I am better than others, so. They're turning on live rats. At 1500 they're building eggs. Yeah, very likely. I think I remember we were talking about that. Put the proven breeder in a pillowcase. When you put them in there, there's no chance it'll lock. Oh, I see what you're saying. Put him in a pillowcase, put him in there. As long as he doesn't get out. That's a good point. I've heard that. I was actually thought you were going with, I've heard Jim from Southwest Wisconsin once told me, he advised me the great way to get them to breed is to put them in like a hoodie and put them in a snake bag or whatever, or a pillowcase. Put them in your hoodie and go shopping at Walmart and walk around. And he's like, I don't know what it is, but it works every time. And I put them in there. It's like they saw the light of God and now they need to breed. So that was something he told me. I've never tried that because I never had to, but yeah, I mean, you just make sure they don't get out at Walmart. It's a stacked animal. I don't know which one we were talking about, but yes, I would try to show his name if I can. Well, guess what celebrity he looks like? Who, me? I don't know. Or you. Oh, the owl. Yes, the owl head. Now I'm getting it. And I'm playing catch up with the comments. It's like, what the heck? Dual, recessive, dual, incomplete, dominant, and stuff works together. All the visual price is definitely doubling. Yeah, when you start stacking a lot of that stuff, it's gonna as it becomes more convenient for you to be able to easily make animals, well, that price usually goes up with that. So keep questions coming. I have an 800-gram female who's just gone off food every time I offer her a rat. She's just shies away from it. Any tips to get her to eat? Well, you're right about at what they famously call the 1,000-gram wall, which is never right at 1,000 grams, but usually snakes, for whatever reason, and I have a theory on that, which I'll share in a moment, stop eating when they get to about 1,000 grams, is what they say, or around there. And they just stop for a very long time, anywhere from, well, a long time. We once had one go for 9 months. Believe it or not, only lost 10 grams. First thing I can advise you to do is not freak out. When you've got a snake that's 800 grams, it's in good shape. You want to look at its body shape more than anything. Just keep providing it water and let it do its thing for now. You have a very long time before you need to significantly worry about a snake that large. They can go incredibly long periods of time. Like I said, 9 months in our case, and it lost 10 grams of weight. That is it. That is it. I know it's crazy. Our human nature doesn't allow us to think that. We freak out because, I mean, we have to eat 3 times a day, sometimes more if we're, packing on the pounds there. But it's interesting, the fact that they don't need to eat that because they don't generate their own body heat. We do, which is why we as mammals need to eat so darn much because we're generating heat. It's why something like this works. It kind of keeps me a little more warm. If I put this on a snake, it's completely useless. You're not gonna get anything out of it. It's as useful as as toilet paper underwater or something like that. It's pointless unless the snake's in there with you, because then it's using your body heat. So I would advise not to worry. That's my big thing. So just give it some time. Now my theory is that they are building follicles. I've heard that is the case. People have actually what is it? Not X-rayed. I'm mind blanking here. For pregnancy, stuff like that. You get the point. Ultrasound. Thank you. I knew that. Just testing you. Ultrasound their females that are that size, and they're building follicles. Now they're too young, in my opinion, to breed at that size. But in the wild, they breed around 900 grams. It's a fact. So my theory is that they're building follicles. And just preparing as they grow. Usually, so what they'll do is they'll kind of stop eating, same as they would as they were breeding, and then they'll go back on it once the follicles are reabsorbed. So no big deal, nothing to worry about. So, Chris says I have a dreamsicle quad. Visual male, various pieds, all het labs. So it sounds like you're big into the het labs. I only have a few. That red gene that I mentioned, the red gene pied, it's also het lab, which was one of the biggest reasons I decided to say, I'll go for it, because I need to add it in there, and I wanted to try Palm Street out. It was quality animals, really nice looking. I just wanted to add a little bit to that project to kind of work it. I don't have much other than that one girl I showed you, so. It's a shipping line freeze. Like I said, I apologize if I miss any comments. Love the sunset morph, but there just so much I want to dive into. Trust me, that is a big thing. That plagues us all. I only have a certain amount of space. Everybody does, and there's just so much I want to get into, and I have to control myself on what I want to do. So, I got a pastel head exantic growing up, and pastel double head exantic pied waiting to be up to size. Xantic's another one that I held off on, didn't jump into myself. I really like the DG. If I did work Xantic, I also don't work Desert Ghost right now. But if I did work Xantic, I would also be in the Desert Ghost, because those combos are sick. I highly recommend eventually pushing those two together, even if it's with pied as well. And I've seen the Xantic clown pieds. The Xantic clown Desert Ghosts, and that's one of the most incredible snakes I ever saw. So I'd be interested to see the Desert Ghost Exantic Pied as well. I'm sure it'd be incredible. It's a solid project, hard to find het females, let alone big ones. If you're talking about the Sunset, yeah, I would agree. You don't usually find proven breeders for Sunset. Like I said, I'd be surprised to see this not go much higher. So, can't wait for it to be of this size. Interesting. Or wait, if you might be talking, yeah, you're talking about Gamer King. Yeah, no, I agree. Same thing there too, though. Your red gene's gonna be dope. Thank you. Yeah, I'm excited to see how that one works. She's a solid looking animal in general. So I'm pretty happy with her, to say the least. So I do like lavender albino, but I bought a hatchling around 200 and only took 3 times. I had her. Like, she's now smashing food. Yeah, sometimes they'll do that. They'll just stress you out. When they're younger, it's a little bit more time, thing to worry about. But even then, usually we make ourselves worry more than we need to. So hopefully I can make a nice bamboo double hat for both of us. There you guys go. Make sure you're both in the Discord. I know you are, Chris, but make sure you're in the Discord. If you guys are serious about it. So. Hey there, Angel. How are ya? RT Royal says DG VPI pinstripe is one of the next season goals. I didn't quite make it this season. That's gonna be sick. I love pinstripe. I absolutely love pinstripe. It's super powerful, but as I mentioned earlier, but I don't care. It's so nice. It's weird sometimes. I'll hear the same people say in nearly the same breath that they don't care for pinstripe. It's too old. It's been done. But then tell me how much they love monsoon. Now, granted, monsoon is way crazier, but they're kind of similar in how wonky they destroy the pattern. So it doesn't make much sense to not like them both. All right, let's go ahead and move it along here. I should have left this when I was talking about all this sunset stuff on these ones. All right, it's their final 3 here. So I'm going to power through these and then finish up with the comments. And send my one of us to go get dog food. Right, Johnny?
Yep.
All right. That would be starting off with this Fire Hypo Redhead. Redhead is an incredibly subtle gene by itself, but when you start to get it into combos, it really pops. It is incredible. And Hypo again is one that just has not, for a while, I should say, was not respected in the way it should. I think people are just saying, oh, it's been around for a while, and it makes it look like it's in shed all the time. That is not the case. As you can see in certain things like this, it just brightens the animal up. Absolutely makes them look like they're on fire. Oh, that'd have been nice. I didn't see that when I first looked at it. It was a het puzzle pairing. If it had proved out, that'd have been even more crazy. But Redhead has so much potential. A lot of people see it in Clown. I see it worked in Clown, and it'd be nice to see it in Hypo here too. So I did want to show you the Clown. I mean, well, there you go, right there. Let's find that sucker. There we go. You start to see what it does, especially in these big combos. It really brings in these crazy rusty overtones, especially along the dorsal of this animal. Serves to kind of dirty it up and everything like that too. And the head, it's just it wipes it clean with kind of like a reddish type head, right? And this is just a redhead clown, mind you. So you know what a clown looks like. You know what the redhead looks like. Not very. It's just a little subtle on the head. You can see it's a little bit red. But when you get the combo here, it really just creates this really dirty, rusty type like coloring on the back of it right here. Absolutely incredible. And that's just like you said, just a clown redhead. So think about that when you're starting to get other combos and such and like that. Now think about that with the Hypo mixed into it that we just saw there. So even better. Serves to brighten it up now and help clean up some of this in a way, but not too much, because actually the dirtiness I think is actually really nice. Kind of cool in there. It serves as a contrast in a way. If you get the Hypo in there though, just thinking way ahead, I guess, at this point, right? Just that's kind of how brains work in this world. You immediately hit something and you're just like, now what? So, like I said, is not one you should sleep on. There's lots of cool redhead combos I see on here, and I feel like this one might go for a little less because, ironically, because it's not in clown, and everybody always thinks about clown because clown is obviously one of the craziest genes out there. It's right now what I would argue to say, the king of ball python morphs, because the reason I'd say that is because anything new, people are immediately like, I can't wait to see that with clown. I mean, that means that, whether you like it or not, I'd say clown is the most popular. So now it's kind of cool to be able to see it in something else, to be able to see someone move forward with it in maybe a different direction. And I see it with pied sometimes too, because that's the next craziest thing, I'd say. But not really with hypo, honestly. So it'd be really cool to see it in that regard, no matter what direction you go. Regardless, redhead, subtle morph, but don't sleep on subtle morphs. Remember, yellow belly's a subtle morph. There's so many other ones, and we're gonna get to another one here in a second. So and that would be lace, pastel lace clown right here from Morphic Exotics. Didn't go up too long ago, so I suspect it might go up a little bit more. But lace is really nice. Again, a very subtle morph. You can kind of tell from some of the, the flaming on the sides and such like that. You can kind of tell some of these whites coming up. The white lace is a very nice animal. When you get the super combo of double lace, being in a male, you'd be able to breed lace into your collection very quickly, which is nice and ideal. So if this is something you want to do, if you want to work lace into lots of different things, which trust me, you do, you might not see it here. You might be like, you're just focusing on the pastel. So I'm going to show you what you should focus on. You should focus on, well, that right there is why you should focus on that. And that has a few of them in there. That is a Cypress, Yellow Belly, Spot Nose, Russo, Lace Clown. So there are 3 genes there that are very subtle. Yellow Belly is very subtle by itself. Some people don't even know how to tell it to this day. Russo, I work Russo. I love and hate Russo, mostly because I have so much difficulty telling it. I whether it's in it, just in some cases. And lace. Now, obviously, this is not just a Cypress Yellow Belly Clown. These colors are insane. I've never seen one so saturated with color and orange in ever. Really, it's absolutely nuts what you're seeing here. And certainly, Cypress and Spot Nose are very much at work here, but they are being assisted to the wazoo by Yellow Belly, Russo, and Lace. So this is kind of why I wanted to bring that up, because sometimes people will look at this, and I've been guilty of this in the past, ironically, with Yellow Belly. A long time ago, I turned down one to save like $300 or something like that had Yellow Belly in it. Now I'm very happy with the animal I got. Still have it, actually. It's a pastel OD leopard het clown, and it was 50% het pied at the time. We proved it out as being het pied, but it had a sister that was the same things except also Yellow Belly, and I turned it down because Yellow Belly wasn't that big of a deal, right? That's what I thought. I mean, I was still, it was a while ago. I figured Yellow Belly doesn't do too much. I know eventually I should get it. I should start listening to all these big breeders, but I decided not to. Don't be like I was. I'd kick myself. Now, granted, that one might not have proven out as het pied, right? But the odds were the same, so it doesn't make any logical sense to base that on hindsight. Don't sleep on these little subtle genes, is my lesson here. Lace, if you could get this for $15, I'd buy everyone. It's not going to be $15 in the end. It's going to be a bit more. It just went up not too long ago, and it's already got 3 bids. People putting placeholders on there is what I like to call it, when you bid like $5 up, $20, right? And I place a bid. I know I'm going to be outbid, and if I wasn't, heck yeah, right? Woohoo! But if I am, it'll tell me an hour before it ends. It'll tell me, hey, it ends in an hour. It'll also tell me when I get outbid, inevitably, probably immediately, right? But it'll give me an hour heads up, so I can kind of pay more attention around that time and determine if I want to be invested in this right now, if I want to keep going, that sort of stuff. So that's another good thing too to do if you especially at these prices right now. Just heck, throw $5 on it if you want to work the lace. This is a nice one to do it with. Again, the eventual potential. Yes, there's more jeans in here clearly, but the eventual potential of what you're getting here. Look up a Cypress Spot-Nose. It does not look like this, and it's being enhanced by, well, a lot of those jeans down there. So just consider that. And then, even though that one probably our nicest looking one, our last one for the night, and then I'll jump into the comments, finish it out, would be this Enchi Super Asphalt Het Pied boy right here. Super Asphalt is super cool, and it's a yellow belly complex jean. Another perfect example right there of these subtle jeans. But this is a combo of the yellow belly type family. They always do this when they're comboed together. It's the most insane 1-2 punch you can get. So this is 2 copies of Asphalt, so it's a super. But if you get the Asphalt and the yellow belly, you get the Freeways, which is also an incredibly unique looking animal. And in that combo, had it been that would have been a Mardi Gras. So this would, being a male, Super Asphalts are awesome because they're always passing 1 copy of Asphalt on. Usually when you see a lot of these, when you're trying to get in the Freeways, you see a lot of them that are yellow belly / Asphalt. And the reason for that is because they look the exact same. Unless you do a shed test, you're not going to tell. You're not going to know. They're going to look the same. You know it's one of the two, and that's it. But with this, you can rest assured that every baby that he breeds is going to be Asphalt. And most people are looking for that, because if I'm going to hit a super, like if I have a super if I'm going to have a Super Asphalt or an Ivory, which is super yellow belly, I want to hit the Super Asphalt because the Ivory is a mostly white snake with usually some white striping or yellow striping kind of occasionally down the back of it. But the Super Asphalt, well, it looks like that. It's incredible. Being Het Pied too, that's pretty big. You could eventually get you could use this to easily create freeway pieds, Enchi freeway pieds. That would be really nice because Enchi brings more pattern into the pied typically. You get yourself a visual female. Again, the Het Pied is not ideal, I guess, because you want it to be visual, but in this case, I mean, you take it because it's super. That's the big thing there, is the super kind of acts like a recessive in this case, because it's always going to pass that copy on. You kind of have that guarantee that Asphalt will be in there. Just get yourself a visual female pied. They're not that crazy anymore. Gone are the days of the $1 per gram of the pied. That used to be the thing if you're going to buy a breeder. What I had heard the rule was is that you pay $1 per gram. So a female would cost you $1,500, and I would know because I bought proven breeders back in the day and got a jump start on it with pieds, and I paid. Yep, I paid. But they're worth it. They're actually still with me too, because they're het for a bunch of other stuff too. So, but this one could be a good one, especially if you want to start working those freeway projects, and if you want to have a flare in there and making it with pieds and stuff like that. Enchi being in there is great too, because you'd be getting Mardi Gras quite a bit. In fact, this was a Mardi Gras pied to a Mardi Gras that made this this boy here. Again, another really great breeder, ball python shed, so you know your quality is pretty much guaranteed there. So but that does it for the snakes for the night. So I'm gonna go ahead and jump back in the comments here, because I know we missed a whole bunch while I was talking. Alrighty, and if anybody's got any questions in the meantime, fire away. Just like I said, just let us know. I will be here till that's what I want to be, right? So I do need to change my name from Gamer King. It was just a dumb no. One of my first things was oh, I go to this now?
Mm-hmm.
He's telling me to go to this. I think it's bigger now. Oh my gosh. Hi. One of my first things, I love games too. So one of my first favorite characters was Sephiroth from Final Fantasy VII. So I named everything Sephiroth. So I had a bunch of old ones. I've since just merged and just made my own name and whatnot. So for a lot of things, but a lot of them were just Sephiroth everything. So I get it. You make a name and it kind of changes. So it's not a big deal. I finally converted a Brian Bartrick pinstripe to frozen last night. Ah, very cool. Yeah, he founded that gene, right? So got one of the OG lines of it too. So certain ones I have will eat. I feed live here just because I've got enough of them that and this isn't even the full thing that you see behind me, but I've got enough of them that just makes it just really unrealistic for me to just. I once tried to do the whole frozen thawed thing. They wouldn't eat but half of them, and then I'd have a bunch of dead thawed rodents that I didn't know what to do with. And then sometimes I would thaw half of them, and then they would all eat. And it was like, cool, now I gotta thaw another bunch. And then half of those wouldn't eat. I just wanted to just, it's just infuriating, so I just went to live. But some of them I still will feed frozen thawed if I know they're like really good at it. I got a few of them over here that are just good at it. And I prefer to feed them that because it's cheaper. Really no stress there either, so I'm gonna babysit them while I'm feeding them. We have a 2-man team when we do this to make sure it's all good. You can't overestimate what a rat, especially a big one, can do to these. Mess them up pretty fiercely. So you just gotta be careful. And what that means is that you gotta step in and basically help your snake kill the rodent, which is not fun. I like rats; they're cool. Had a few of them that just kind of, prove I kept as pets instead. So I love Brian. Such a big loss to the reptile community. I agree. Absolutely, 100%. Got 10 BHB animals. Chicha base. Maybe you got it during time when they were downsizing, because they're really going to the zoo-ish route now. I was actually at the Reptarium right when they had first bought the new Legacy, so it was just across the street really. Nothing hadn't been built up or anything like that, so and that's a cool experience. If you ever get a chance to go to the Reptarium, or at this point maybe just hold out for the Legacy and you get it all. So very cool place, very different from like a zoo in that regards. You go there and it's a very interactive, hands-on experience. So Canova has Het Monsoon yellow bellies for 500. Really? You gotta be males in that case, but still, that's a good way. We have a Het Monsoon male here actually with Het Clown as well. It's just a boy. I just kind of got him and we'll see what happens, right? So scroll down here. That looks like a leopard boa. I think you're talking about this one. It does look like some boa vibes here. I'm not great with the boa.
You can't see that.
Oh, I gotta switch back. How do I do that? Here we go. That one. I think that's the one you're talking about. That does look like a leopard. I'm still learning, okay? Since I get the camera. But yeah, it definitely gives some boa vibes off there. So I wonder if this mixed with my Black Pestle HR guy. Whoa. Things just... Chat went crazy for me just a second, so let me find out where I was. There we go. Like Pastel HRA. I think it'd be cool. HRA is another one that I think is somewhat subtle, but then when the right combos pops out really, really nice. So I actually saw some with the mixed with the Gorilla Gene, which is one I want to move into, because for a long time people thought like, oh no, it's the same as HRA, but no, it was proven it isn't, by trying to mix them with the HRA. So and it ended up being a cool thing, but it wasn't it. So Cypress lace looks nuts. Indeed it does. It's a beautiful animal there. One of the most colorful, bright looking animals I think I've ever seen. Canova keeps knocking ball pythons out of the park. Yep. Knocking the ball out of the park. Well, pun intended, I guess, right? Yes, they definitely do, Sarah. Absolutely. Why you blind me? Absolutely. They have so much ability, or he has so much ability to produce these now, but he always has an eye for it. Just an absolutely like a maniacal genius when it comes to what he can see in the future. I think with these, it's very inspiring a lot of times watching some of the stuff he's creating. So Pastel clowns are so pretty. I said pastel gets a lot of hate, but in the right combos, even with clown, I think pastel by itself can brown out and whatnot, but with the right combos and whatnot, I think it's nice. So imagine super inchy, super asphalt. I probably don't even have to imagine it. Give me a second. Super inchy, super asphalt. That it? It's with pastel too, but yeah, this will work. All right. Very nice. The pastel actually probably serves to make you give it like almost like a little ghostly appearance. I'd be interested to see it without the pastel, but I actually think the pastel serves it very well here. It's actually incredible, quite frankly. You make it so easy to understand without the need to be a genesis. Oh, hi Irene. How are you? Yeah, I have learned over time, let's just say the least. Big Daddy, my name is Big Daddy. Don't worry. I'll try not to worry. Hi, Paul. How are you? I have a lot of frozen because we raise boas and they never need live. Yeah, I only keep them mostly for the babies. If they won't eat and stuff like that, I move in with an assist feed and stuff like that if I need to, which I haven't had a lot of need to do that this year, thank God. So it's always never fun to have to assist feed them, but I always make sure they have the best ability to live if I can. So I'm looking for a good more female for my blade clown. That clown special would be a good one for that. Special is another one. The special Pompeii was my favorite version of the Pompeii, actually. Really suited that one quite well. So hi Chris, how are you today? If you had to start from 0 snakes, oh boy, and want to buy 3 for breeding projects, what would you buy? Well, funny enough, we do challenges like that with 5 snakes. What?
5 minutes ago.
No! It's a challenge we do. We have challenge videos, actually, where it's usually about 30 minutes that he gives me, and he'll give me it's just for fun, but it kind of serves as kind of like a learning tool, because it gets me out of my comfort zone, and he'll say, like, hey, you got this many minutes, you have this price. He'll say you have this price, and maybe throw another thing in there, like you can't do clown or something like that. Last time he told me I had to buy him from Europe, and yeah, it didn't actually stump me as much as I thought it would. I actually did quite well in that challenge. But if I had to start with 3, I'd definitely get 2 females and 1 male. And if I had unlimited money, probably go with the Monarch project. I'd just stick with it, honestly. But with a lot of hets, I'd probably do the Monarch Clown projects. And, if it was unlimited money, I mean, let's be realistic. For that, you probably need to make some combos, right? It's not really feasible to buy a Clown Monarch. They're quite a bit. So I would probably start with some hets with some extra genetics in there, like spot nose, blackhead. Those would be very nice ones to work in there. Those types of genetics and whatnot. So. Monsoon's a good one too. See picture perfect python said that. So but yeah, I think we'll go ahead and get ready to call it there. Like I said, we still need to run out here and grab some stuff. Thanks everybody for joining as usual. So I think we actually went pretty. Oh, you don't have it on the thing. I usually he's got it over here. How long did we go today?
Almost 2 hours.
Hey, there you go.
10 minutes, something like that.
Sweet. So awesome. Really appreciate everybody joining. Hope you like the webcam. That's it. Like I said, it's a new thing. It's the first time we've done it. Usually it's, what is it? This. Which I do like because it has the for my voice. My brother made this. But that had been what we were doing. Oh, the stream is not starting, it's ending. But I figured we would eventually want to get a webcam and stuff like that too anyways. It's not like I'm camera shy. I mean, I literally make the videos and whatnot anyways. So, Oh, a couple more questions. If you could put only puzzle into one project, what would they be? Well, I'd have to pick Monarch again, because I mean, I might sound like a broken record, but I'm already doing that, and that was something I was planning to do before anybody had even hit it. Which I figured I wouldn't be the first because people had made hets, but that's where I would go with it. And quite frankly, the one with cinnamon that I have over here, I don't know if that's been done, and that's kind of where my heart is because it's a little bit more of a dark one. So, thanks, awesome show. Everybody stay warm. It's very cold. Yes, maybe you're around in the Midwest like us. We love you, Owl Brother. Come on, join us. And again, if you're not into this weird joke, it's because even though you can see his face at a show, the joke is that until we hit, I don't know, a certain amount of 10,000 subs.
3 million subs.
Yeah, okay, that's never happening. Until we hit that, he's just not going to show up on camera, even though he has. So I didn't even thank you for answering my question. Hopefully catch you in the next one. You think a Xantic puzzle would look good? Absolutely it would, because Xantic puzzle cleans it up and brightens it up too, which would help offset what a Xantic eventually does in terms of the brown out that it might get there too. So I think that is a great option, quite frankly. I wonder if that's been done. We'll go down that rabbit hole another time. We gotta go get dog food before they close. Yes, I appreciate everybody joining as always. Hope you have a wonderful night. For anybody wondering, we do these typically every Tuesday, the lives that is, and then we do the uploaded ones on Fridays, and then our normal video, which will getting back into less egg cuttings because I'm out. Those will be happening every Sunday as usual. So, again, check out our Discord if you want to just join and just talk. I'm in there. A lot of other people are in there, so everybody can talk, get advice, just have fun and everything like that. And on cue, there's the Discord app, or not app, but link right there. So, was there anything else?
We'll work on fixing the lighting as well as the lag next time. I didn't say anything, but it was actually lagging the whole time on the webcam.
Was it? Okay.
I think it's having performance issues.
Maybe the webcam's what caused that originally. So, and we'll try to get the lighting. Maybe if we just make the lighting go from the top down, and then I'll be able to show the snake a little bit easier and stuff like that. So, anyways, everybody have a great night. Again, appreciate everybody joining, and we'll catch you in the next one. Have a good one, everybody.
Make sure to set it to stream ending.